Hello friends, welcome to our channel Explain Things Around and our course Learn C Programming A to Z. So before we start, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please click on the subscribe button. So in our last video, we created few programs to print some specific patterns related with stars. And in today's video, we'll create programs where we are printing those patterns with the help of numbers rather than designed with the stars. So let's get into Dev C++ and we'll try to print some specific patterns with numbers. Okay, so this is our last program which we created for a star, and we'll see how can we use the same thing to print patterns with the help of patterns having numbers. So let's say we try to print this pattern 1 2 3, on the third line 4 5 6, on the third line 7 8 9 10. Suppose you need to print this kind of pattern. So again here also, as number of spaces in start, this will follow the same rule which we had in our previous programs, like number of spaces here is line total line number minus current line number. Okay, so this will be, suppose n is your total line number and I is your current row counter, so it will follow, number of spaces will follow same. Okay, next is how many numbers we are printing. If you see here, for the first row we are printing only one number, for the second row we are printing two number, for the third row we are printing three number, and for the fourth row we are printing four number. Okay, so this one, and all are in continuous manner 1 2 3 4. It is not like on the first row we are having one, on the second row we are having one two. That also can become another pattern. So let's try first for this one, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, so here our first loop, this will take care of spaces. This is same as our what we use for stars, nothing changed here. For number printing, we'll have to, loop will still continue till number of current row, but what we are going to print, that will change. So here it is number, continuous number 1 2 3 4. So for that, let's create a variable, say out. Okay, and we'll initialize it to 0. Okay, and here, so what we'll do, we need to print this number every time, right? So before printing, we'll increment it by 1. So out will be equal to out plus 1, and here we'll print that number %d comma out. So this will take care of number increment. So for the first row it will print 1, for the second row first time it will print 2, again that number will get incremented and it will print 3, then it will go to third line, then it will print, it will get incremented, it will print 4, and this is how it will keep on working. So let's compile and run it. So I'll say number of rows 4. So if you see here 1 2 3 4 5, so we got the same pattern. If you want to have spaces in between so that it looks better, so you just need to add one extra space and you'll see your output pattern will get totally different. So I'll say 3 lines. So you see here, earlier how it was getting printed and now how it is getting printed. So same way how your star program worked when you added one extra space in between, similar kind of effect you can notice here also, just with the use of one extra space after number gets printed. So this is how you can tweak your program, how you can modify your program here and there, and you'll see a big change in your output program, in your output pattern. Okay, so let me show you few uh, more patterns, and I'll show you how we can try to achieve that in C. So there's one famous pattern that is called Pascal Triangle. Okay, so that will look something like on the first screen. On the first column, it will have 1. Okay, on the second column, it will have 1 and then tab 1. On the on the second row, and on the third row, it will have 1. Okay, here it will have 2. Here it will have 1. On the fourth row, it will have 1. Here it will be 3. Here it will be 3, and here it will be 1. So if you notice here, on the next row, whatever gets printed, that is basically sum of the two elements on the top of that. So if you see 2 here, that is sum of these two, 1 and 1. If you see 3 here, this is sum of 1 and 2. Similarly 3, this is sum of these two. If you print one more line here, if you go to on the fifth line, it should give output like, it should have 1, here it should be 4, 1 plus 3, here it should be 6, 3 plus 3, here should be 4, here it should be 1. So this is called your Pascal triangle. In this triangle, you will find many patterns, many relationship between the numbers which are printed. So like the one I showed you, uh, the number which gets printed here is sum of the exactly sum of the top two numbers. Similarly, you can find here the relation like 1, 3, 6. These are your triangular numbers. So if you continue it, this will follow your triangular sequence. So there are so many hidden patterns. If you get time, try to learn more about this pattern. It will give you a lot of meaningful information. So if we need to print it using the C program, so we'll have to find the specific pattern for the each number so that we can formulate that and we can print that. Okay, so one thing we can see here, on each line the numbers which are printed is equal to the number of that current row. Like on the first row we have only one number, on the second row we have two numbers, on the third row we have three numbers. So that pattern we can see here, but what values need to get printed, that is another thing which we need to highlight. So if you are aware with the permutation and combination and you know the formula of NCR, okay, so you'll notice that first one, this is nothing but your 0C0. Here also if you notice, this is your 0C, this is your 1C0, and this is your 1C1. Similarly here if you go, first element, this is your, so let me do one thing, let me put it in Excel. Okay, so if this is, so your pattern will look like 1 1 1 1 1. Here it will be 1 1 2 1 1, then it will be 1 1 3 3 1. Okay, this is how your pattern looks. So this element, this is nothing but 0C0. If you calculate 0C0 using math formula, it will be 1, nothing else. Similarly here, this is your 1C0, which is nothing 1. This element also, this is your 1C1, which is 1. Similarly, if you go to the third row, okay, so this will be your 3C0, which is equal to 1. Okay, sorry, it will start with the 2 counter. We started from 0, so on the third row it will be 2C0. Okay, and if you check this one, this is your 2C1, which is nothing but 2, and this element is 2C2, which is nothing but 1. Okay, so similarly you can formulate all of these with the help of NCR formula. So if you see the value of any element at any position, that is following NCK pattern. NCK pattern. It is following NCK pattern where N is that row counter, N is the row counter. Okay. Considering we are starting counter from 0. Make sure you are not starting from the 1. Okay. And K is the element position. And this also we are starting from 0. Okay, so earlier we have been starting our counter from 1, but for this we are starting our counter from 0. So row counter is also getting started from 0, and element position is also getting started from 0. So element position will increment 0 1 0 1 2 3 0 1 2 3 4, like the number of lines on which line we are, that many position will be having. If we are on the second line, we'll have 2 positions. We are on the third line, we'll have 3 positions. So element position will increment from 0 to till that number. Okay, so we need to calc uh, so we need to see how can we derive. So we need to see how can we derive the value of NCK in the C program. So NCK is, okay, if you are from mathematical background, you will be knowing NCK is n factorial, okay, divided by k factorial into n minus k factorial. Okay, so this is what NCK value is. Okay, so in C, first we have to create a function which can create factorial, and then we can easily apply to get the value at any particular position. Okay, so let's get into our C program. What I'll do, I'll quickly create a function. Okay, I'll create a function to return the factorial value. So I have in our earlier session I have explained what is function and how can we create that in C. So if you have any doubt, you can refer to that. So first we need to give the prototype. So we are assuming we'll pass the integer number, and the factorial function will return the calculated factorial value, which is also integer number. And let me define that function here. So and let me say fact, and it will have input, let's say a. Okay, and inside this, let's say result, int result. Okay, so n factorial. Okay, so result will be result into value of I. Let me create one counter I here. Okay, I will start from 1, it will continue to a and I plus plus. Okay, so if you know, when you say 3 factorial, for example, this is what 1 into 2 into 3, right? So n factorial follows the same formula. It starts from 1 and it gets keep multiplying till that number n minus, sorry, till n. So that is your n factorial. So we are not doing anything else. We are simply getting the value of I starting from 1 till that particular number, and we are keep on multiplying that and storing it in a result variable. So once this calculation is done, we will return this result back to the calling function. Okay, and now since our function to calculate factorial is ready, now what we need to do here, our out, which we are printing earlier as 1 2 3, that will get changed, and that will be, so we have line number stored in in counter I. So as I said, we have to start it from 0. So it will not continue till n. It will be less than n rather than less than equal to. And similarly, our counter for element position, that will also start from 0. Okay, and it will go 0 to k less than I, which is our row counter, and out will be factorial of, our formula was what, nck, right? So factorial of, which is n factorial divided by k factorial into n minus k factorial. So this will be factorial of I divided by factorial of k into factorial of I minus k. So this will give you the value of that particular element. So for this one it will calculate for this one. So at any point of location it will calculate the value which needs to get printed. So let's save this. I'll remove this space for now, and let's compile and execute. We'll see if we are getting the values at least calculated or not. So here we created one custom function, one user defined function, factorial, to calculate the factorial value of any given number. So let me say number of line 4. Okay, something happened. Close the program. Okay, let's see if we missed something. So here our counter I starts from 0 till n. Then we are printing spaces. Okay, and in function factorial function I, we are returning result, and result here. Okay, so we are, one thing we missed, we have to initialize this result variable, otherwise it will keep some garbage value and we may get some unwanted result also. So let's initialize this to 1. Okay, let's save it, compile and run it again. I'll give 4. Okay, so you see now this time we are getting the output. So 4 we said, but number of line got printed which is 3 only. So that is one thing we have to look into. It should have printed 4 lines. Okay, that is one thing. And the values 1, 2. Okay, so something went wrong here in our formula. Okay, here it is coming 1, then 1, 2, then 1, 3, 3. So what is missing here? It should have been 1, second row 1, 1, third row 1, 2, 1, right? So let's look into our program. We might have missed some variable. Okay, so if you see one thing here, value of I is starting from 0. So for number of spaces also, let's start from 0 only to be consistent. And this will start from 0. So for the first, so what we are trying to do, we are trying to do dry run here so that we know what we are expecting from our output. So if you take this counter k and you see, so for the first loop, value of k is 0, value of I also will be 0, right? So it will satisfy this condition, 0 less than 0. Sorry, so here what we can do, so this should be less than equal to. Okay, so this one we missed one thing. So for that, so that's why for the first it was not coming. Okay, so let's compile and run it again. One thing, 4. So now you see, so just because we missed that one equal to, it was reducing one counter number of count, and that's why we are getting incorrect output. So now we are having the correct value on the output. We are having 1, then on the second row we have 1 1, on the third row we have 1 2 1, on the fourth row we have 1 3 3 1. One more thing which I learned about this Pascal triangle is, if you notice each row's value, right? First row is 11 to the power 0, which is 1. Second row is the 11 to the power 1, which is 11. Third row is 11 to the power 2, which is 121. Fourth row is 11 to the power 4, 1331. So that's what I told. Try to learn more about this Pascal triangle. It has so many hidden information in it. Okay, so now we have at least the output, but now what we need to do, we need to formulate it in the triangular way. Okay, we have to spread it so that it looks something like this. One, then we have few spaces. Okay, so this thing we can easily do like we did for the star. So let's try to put few spaces in between. Okay, and we should be getting the correct output. So I'll put one space before, and let's see what happens. 4. Okay, so I just put one space in between, and now you can see you are getting output is looking properly. So 1 on the second row you have 1 1, which is on the third row you have 1, then between on the 1 and 1 you have 2, then you have in last one. So your output got structured properly. So this is how you can print Pascal triangle. So let's try to run it for higher number. Compile and run. So far all the numbers are single digit only. So let me run it for 6 number. Yeah. So if you see here, now also it looks good. 1 1 1 2 1 1. So it all looks good, right? It is following that pattern, and output also looks good. So if you have any question understanding this logic, if you have any doubt, you can put that in comment box. I'll definitely reply to that. But only thing, any problem related with pattern, specific pattern, be it with number or you're printing with some star, uh, try to find the hidden formula behind that. See what all input variables you have, be it your row counter or be it your number of lines you are getting from the input, and try to figure out the relation which our output is having with these variables. So that will help you to figure out the relation. So thank you, thanks for watching our videos. Feel free to put your questions in the comment box. Don't forget to share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you, thanks for watching.